you ever been sitting in the audience where you are now, looking at somebody doing something and thinking, I want to do that. Like, that's exactly where I need to be. You've been in the stands, watching your favorite team play, think, why am I not on the field? Why am I not on that stage, giving that talk, singing that song, playing the guitar? Why am I not doing that thing? Why am I doing this thing? I did that for a really long time. I sat exactly where you are, hearing some pretty mediocre speakers, none of them with the Speakers Collaborative, thinking, A, I could do better, but B, I have something to say. And people tell me they want to hear it. So a couple of years ago, I decided I'm going to give it a go. And I met with a speaking agent. By the way, that jumps from, I want to do this to professional. I skipped a whole lot of stuff in the middle. What she told me I skipped was, you need content, you need footage, you need to know what you're going to talk about. People aren't just going to hire me to speak because I'm cool. You need headshots, you need all these things. I had nothing, and I had no way to get it, because speaking is a chicken and egg situation. You need to speak to get the content that you need to market yourself, and you need content to market yourself to speak. And so you never know where to start. It's much like a sport. You need to be able to play the game to practice to get good, but you can't get good without playing the game. And so last year, I decided that I would do just what she said. I'd get that content. I looked around to see if I could get on one of those popular stages, on one of those really great YouTube shows. They didn't let guys like me on there. So I was sitting at the house one night, pondering my future, pondering a future of sitting where you are today, continuing to dream and not doing anything about it. And I had this idea, why don't I just produce my own? Why don't I do my own show? And so I started to look at the logistics and I priced it out, and I thought, well, I could do this. But I didn't want to do it alone, because I thought I want to give it some credibility. Now, at the time, my why, my reason for doing it was because I needed content to market myself. But I wanted it to look professional, so I needed a team of people to join me on stage. And so I took a really good friend of mine out, Robin Kimball Eisenbeiss, who's here tonight. An amazing person, by the way. And I ran this idea by Robin, thinking, because she'd been doing a lot of speaking, great book, I just want to run it by her. See if she knows anybody that might need this sort of content and this sort of event. And we're sitting at this coffee shop, talking through my idea, and she interrupts me and she says, I'm in, I want to do it. And at that point I thought, no, you're here, we're here. I don't think, anyway, Robin jumped in. And about a year ago, this week, we produced the first Speakers Collaborative. Remember, my why for doing that was to get the content that I needed and provided for everybody else, but my why was to do that. And so we got on stage just down the street. I gave my talk about knowing your worth, still one of my best talks. You should look at it if you get a minute. I've actually had to watch my own talk over this past year to talk myself into knowing my own worth. I did my talk, got my content. But something happened that night last year that changed everything. Robin got on stage, and Robin talked about giving people their name back, much like Peter was saying tonight, using people's name. It gives them their humanity back. It acknowledges their presence. And I've done that this year. I've used people's names everywhere I go. And it is amazing how it changes their lives that very day. Robin did that at the Speakers Collaborative, followed by Kara, who gave a really moving talk about her experience learning to dive so she could heal generational trauma. Susan talked to us about busyness, about slowing down and taking care of yourself and healing. And Matthew, who is here tonight as well, convinced me at that very moment that the best employee to hire is someone with Down syndrome. They will be your best employee. Trust me on that. As each one of them spoke that night, my why started to change from I need this content to people have stories. People have stories that they want to tell, but more importantly, people have stories they need to hear. You see, when you sit in the crowd and you sit on that dream that you feel so deep that it can't be anything other than your calling, when you sit on that, you are depriving someone else of the healing of hearing your story. If Jillian hadn't just told us about her ability to slow down because she had to slow down to take care of herself and how to do it, somebody watching tonight might not have ever heard that and maybe a day away from the same experience. Peter inspired us to tell our stories, to give our names, to live into that. I'm so excited that Patrick was here. Patrick was with us last year. I can't imagine what his talk would have been like if he had given it then. I'm so glad he gave it today. It was such an interesting experience to be standing in the wings of that stage, and my why completely changed. I think you should all remember that your why, you don't have to marry it. You don't have to live with it for the rest of your life. A third of the people surveyed feel stuck. They feel like they are not living what they're called to live. They did everything they were supposed to. They went to college. They went to graduate school. They got that job right out of college, that internship. And here we are 20 years later wondering, is this it? Is this it when what I really want to do is what that person's doing? Let me tell you, it's not it. And as Ashley told us earlier, when you start to become your own best advocate, you start to do it to yourself. You see, my why changed. Yeah, I'm still speaking. I'm still available to book. Anybody out there? But my why for doing the Speakers Collaborative, and the reason we're here again tonight, and the reason we're doing it again in August and October and January, and we're going to keep doing it as long as we have people on stage. The reason that my why changed is because I saw the value in giving this stage to everybody else. What I found when I was planning out the next few productions, I'm not on the list. I'm not getting on the stage. My why is no longer a selfish reason for doing this. My why is because I built a stage and you need to get on it. Thank you.